liner that played right before the intro, I think that was a really cool liner. I got to remember that station ID. I don't know if you heard it, but it was like a mix-up of LeBron from the from the championship. I'm going to have to start playing that before we start our show every week. I really enjoy that. But
Same.
Anyways, if you missed the intro, Josh and I, he's a little bit younger than I. He's like 24, right?
Yes.
I always forget. And I just turned 33. We come from some different backgrounds. So
What, am I that forgettable?
No, you trust me. You are not forgettable, Josh. And we come together every week. We've been doing this for a while now, and we just kind of compare our opinions on everything from world news through local news. But we like to start the show off by doing a couple different things. First of all, just kind of comparing and talking about how our past week went. And we just had Thanksgiving week, which I was thinking about it on the ride up here. Normally on the ride up here, I work on kind of getting myself centered and figuring out what to talk about. And I can't believe Thanksgiving was just 4 days ago. It feels like it was weeks ago.
Really?
For me, it does. But yeah, Thanksgiving, I went to my girlfriend's mother's house, ate good, brought everybody home some food. Other than that, it's just been a lot of guitar playing. Like anymore, if I'm not doing anything else, I have my guitar in my hand. Like I've been playing a lot of guitar.
Yeah, gotcha.
I'm working on speed right now. Like playing faster and faster and faster, and for a lot of that I have to sit there with like these same parts of a song and slow them down and then play it and play it and play it and play it and play that same part of a song like 30 times over just to try to learn it. So it can be kind of frustrating. And I'm sure it drives my girlfriend Jane crazy because she has to sit there and listen to me play it over and over and over again. But anyways, that's been my weekend. What have you been up to, Josh?
Thanksgiving was the typical Unger Thanksgiving.
Typical Unger Thanksgiving.
Yes, the typical Unger Thanksgiving. Like the whole family's over, including significant others, which hopefully I'll have one at some point.
Yeah, I don't want to put your information out there too much, but it sounds like you had at least some positive news.
Yes, I did, but
and that's good to know. We'll just say that there might be some news in the future.
Right, but we'll keep that off mic for now.
Yeah, well, there might be some news in the future.
Right. But we had the air hockey tournament. We had the ping pong tournament, which I'll share the winners of those on tomorrow's show. So what's the catch on All Sports Cleveland every Wednesday from 2 o'clock to 4 o'clock. We did have rutabagas, like what we were talking about at the beginning of SWTC for 5 minutes.
That was so what's the catch last week. Josh got me. I honestly, like, I've heard the word before, but I don't think I've ever ate a rutabaga. So I looked it up and, like, I couldn't, it was mind-blowing how much information I was able to find on a rutabaga in 5 minutes.
I don't know, like, you got so obsessed with just that part of it.
There's a reason I have obsessive-compulsive disorder.
It was absolutely hilarious, and it just made that show that much better. It was hilarious, and I loved it.
See, rutabagas, they can be eaten raw, but are usually roasted, cooked, and mashed, and can be used in casseroles. They are high in vitamin C, a good source of potassium, and high in fiber. So yeah, Jane, apparently we got to try this rutabaga. It's a root vegetable, so we got to get hip on this root vegetable.
Yeah, I include that in my vegetable stew, which generally I try to keep that a secret, but apparently my whole family loved it. So it was rutabaga, it was bell pepper, it was onion, carrots. Those are my basic vegetables, and then for the sauce or broth, whatever you want to call it, stew, broth, sauce, I don't know.
Whatever it is.
Yes. Gravy, choose your words wisely, I guess. It's vegetable broth and diced tomato, or canned tomato, I should say, with a little bit of cornstarch. And then the seasoning that I put on the vegetables was a little bit of pepper. I think it was allspice, nutmeg, and cinnamon.
So it turned out good?
Yeah.
Everybody digged it?
Oh, yeah. My dad said it was the best I had ever done.
Are you somebody who tends to cook a lot?
I should cook more, because generally, when I do cook, it turns out really well.
I never really learned anything about cooking. Growing up, my mom, she liked to cook, but she worked a lot too. Like she was pretty much, working mom. She worked like 60, 70 hours a week. So more than anything, we ended up like eating just quick stuff,
Yeah.
And she never really took the time to teach me anything. As I got older, I tried to like teach myself, and that didn't work out too good. I ended up like burning up a few pans and just making things worse. And I was pretty much told I wasn't allowed to cook anymore. And then after I eventually moved out on my own with my first long-term girlfriend, like she cooked, and then went to prison a few times, and they take care of the food in there. And then after I came home this time, Jane was there, so I've just always had somebody to cook for me.
So you got lucky in that aspect.
I guess so. My dad kind of went through something similar when he was growing up, and once he hit like his 40s and 50s, he got into a situation where for the first time he was left alone, like on his own, and he had to pretty much teach himself how to cook. And I remember that real well because I had to try everything that he made.
Oh, so you were like his guinea pig.
Yeah, and it wasn't always great, but I remember him actually, he can cook now. He has taught himself, so I might get to that point eventually, but so far I have no, I don't even enjoy it, to be honest. Like, I don't enjoy cooking.
Really?
But anyway, so that's been it for the past week. I also wanted to touch real quick. You mentioned, Josh, we do our sports show. And our sports podcast you can listen to tomorrow. It plays on, what is it?
All Sports Cleveland.
All Sports Cleveland, yeah. It's on the same website, but you go to the All Sports Cleveland studio. Anyways, we'll talk about the Browns and everything there. But I have a couple sports stories. So real quick, before we get to our question, I just wanted to do like a Split View Sports Update, SVSU. Dun, dun, dun.
That sounds similar to like what TV show is that?
SVU?
Yes.
Yeah, it's a good show. But anyways, and I'm not even trying to talk about like the logistics of these games and what happened, but the Browns game yesterday. I don't think you have to be a sports fan to realize that the Browns are back in the trash.
Yeah, pretty much.
And it's a bummer. I think it's even more of a bummer for some of these like casual fans, the people of Cleveland who have for years and years and years now waited to have a good team, and they don't really pay attention to the details. All they know is everybody saying like, "Oh, Browns are going to have a good team this year. Super Bowl, Super Browns." Now,
you sound like Chirk Berserk.
Yeah, I know, right? On our show, So What's the Catch? Even before the season, I think all of us had some concerns. We were hoping for the best. And it didn't work out, obviously. But, man, if you are any kind of a Browns fan right now, you got to be feeling pretty low.
Oh, yeah.
Speaking of fans and going through some bad things, it seems like Ohio just caught crap all weekend. Ohio State lost Saturday to Michigan.
Yes.
And that's another game where, like, even if you're not a football fan, you know how important that is.
Right. You know Brian's going to give you a ton of crap about that tomorrow.
That's exactly what I told Jane when she was like, "Man, we lost. I wish we would have won." And I said, "Look, it's just football. I don't really care that we lost. The worst part of it is that I'm going to have to listen to Michigan fans for the next year talking about that."
Yep. My dad already is preparing for it because my sister went to Michigan. So she's going to be giving him crap about it.
Yeah, one of our buddies on our show actually went to Michigan too, so we'll definitely be hearing about it tomorrow. Tune in if you want to hear us have to eat some crow.
Yes.
But then to be fair, like when we were doing our shows last week, I didn't talk a lot of crap either about Ohio, even though we were greatly the team favored to win.
I think Ohio State was favored by like 7, if I remember.
It's just that I know, and I've kind of figured this out over time, that in football, and especially college football, the tides turn. You never know. Any given game.
Right. Any given Sunday in the NFL, any given Saturday in college.
Or Friday, or they play so many random games throughout the week now.
They do.
It's no longer just like a Saturday and Sunday thing. I can turn on the TV most days and find some kind of game.
Yes, but don't worry, this is not a football show.
No, just doing a quick update.
Correct.
And the last thing before we move on, you had sent me a story, and I just wanted to briefly touch on it, that the Indians, they passed it through the city council for their plans on the stadium. I think it still has to pass through the state side.
Right. I thought, like, once it passed through the city, it was done and over with.
It basically is, I feel like.
Yeah. One of our counterparts on the So What's the Catch team, James, pointed out right away, like, no, it still has to get approved by the state.
And I know that, but it was really the city that they were worried about. The state, they were pretty sure was going to pass it if the city passed it. I'm feeling pretty good about it. I really have no more concerns anymore because the issue was we were all kind of wondering, are the Indians going to stay in Cleveland or are they trying to find a way to exit?
Right.
And with the city passing, I feel a lot better now.
Well, I guess we have to officially call them the Guardians.
Yeah,
now.
the Cleveland Guardians.
Yeah.
That is.
Which
And
I still stand by. My logic sounds better than their logic.
I'm sure you always think that, Josh.
No, but in this particular case, because their logic was, hey, there's these statues on a bridge that pretty much nobody knows about. Let's name our team after that.
Yeah, it was a little bit silly.
My logic was, okay, the Indians are right next to Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse, and the primary tenant at Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse is the Cleveland Cavaliers, and their name has to do with swords and defending and all that. So I'm like, okay, the Indians should just change their name to be similar to that.
I mean, it makes sense to me.
How about Guardians? There you go.
Well, that was your local sports update. But speaking of local, we're about to take a break here in a moment. And when we take our breaks, we don't play ads because we're not suckers like that. We play local music because we want to try to turn on some of these local people. So when we hit this first break, you're going to be listening to Dead Fall by Temporary Bliss. Man, my eyes are so bad. I need LASIK surgery. I can't read that from here. I had to get my face up close to the screen to see that. Anywho, but before we take our first break, we like to end this first segment with just a few personality questions. These have been kind of fun, revealed a lot. First one up. What is your dream job? I feel like this one's kind of easy.
Yeah, this one's easy for me. I want to be an on-air talent at ESPN Cleveland.
I like that you're getting specific too, because
Yeah.
I don't just want to hear I want to be an on-air talent. Like,
Yeah.
what if you had your choice right now? Like, what would you be running your own show?
Either being the host of my own show, but I also like doing this where it's one-on-one or like with the So What's the Catch team of having multiple
Co-host.
people. Yeah, co-host.
And is there anything else that you've ever thought about that you would kind of be interested in doing, or is that really just all there is for you?
No, I'd be open to doing a radio show like this. As I've said, I didn't think I would enjoy doing a radio show like this because I'd be worried that it gets into, oh my God, did you see this new fashion trend, or did you see that these two celebrities are dating each other? And I'm like,
I think we've done pretty good at avoiding those kind of stories.
yeah, and because for me it's just all right, cool.
Yeah, well, I get that you wouldn't want to talk about that stuff, but there is stuff going on in the world, and generally we are people, as broadcasters, I feel like we're both people that have opinions. That's kind
Correct.
of what a broadcaster is, so...
Which makes content a lot better.
And you don't have to hold on to just sports. I feel like you should explore your boundaries a little bit, and you already have, and I think it worked out.
Yeah, I mean, I remember Don Jackson early on in our classes in the RTB program. He was saying I should try and get into character work.
Yeah, voiceover work, different. I think you should really try anything.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where I'm at this point. My dream job would be doing this, running a show. I like the idea of running my own talk show, a couple hours long.
Yeah.
But I'm open to a lot of different things. I've always wanted to do stand-up comedy, and I want to try that out still. I'm open to the idea of acting or even writing, writing out scripts and stuff. I kind of enjoy all of that. So there's a lot of different things I feel like I could be open to.
So when you say acting, do you mean acting in an on-screen movie role, or do you mean...
Yeah, I'm not really somebody who ever plans on being a famous actor, but the few times we've done little student stuff and I've acted, I've enjoyed it.
Right.
So I think it's something I would explore.
Okay, but you wouldn't want to be somebody that tours with a Broadway musical type.
Oh no, that's kind of outside of my range of skills.
Yeah. Okay, gotcha.
Last but not least, because we are running a little late, do you have a life philosophy that you live by?
Life philosophy?
And I'll take this one up first. My thought with this was that for me, my life philosophy is that for every situation, you have to look to the gray. And what I mean by that is that people think a lot of situations are black and white, either right or wrong. And a lot of times I think life is more complex than that, and you got to kind of look to what's in the middle. And that's just my own thought. And it kind of goes with what I was saying just a minute ago of trying different things out and opening yourself up to new experiences. And the reason I feel this way and I kind of live this way is that I've had that happen a lot, to where I thought I knew who I was and what I liked, but after trying new things, I found totally different parts of myself. So yeah, that would be like my life philosophy.
I guess my answer, I have two thoughts to this. Number one, never use the R word.
Okay, yeah.
I think that qualifies.
Yeah, that qualifies.
And my other thing is, some things, how do I say this? Some things happen without explanation. Like, people, here's what I mean. For example, the Big Bang.
Mm-hmm.
Like, do we definitively know that it happened? No. Do we definitively know that it didn't happen? No. Maybe that's just our explanation, but we don't actually know. Is that a good way of explaining it?
No, I get it. I get what you're saying. I'm just thinking a little bit.
Okay. You looked perplexed, so I wasn't sure if you were, like, comprehending what I was saying or...
No, I was thinking about it, and that actually makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, I think we're going to leave it off there. I like that thought.
Okay.
We are going to hit this first break, and like I said, you will be listening to Deadfall do Temporary Bliss, some local music, give them some love. We'll be right back right after that with some U.S. news. I get my notes up. Today, we're going to be, when we come back, we'll be talking about New York opening its first legal shooting gallery for drug users. We'll talk about how we feel about that. Also, a Texas man got himself arrested after he used COVID money to buy a car. So hang out, and we will be
right back.
You're listening to Split View, and we will be right back.
Hey, this is Stout from the Ohio Media School. Jumpstart your career in broadcasting today. Take advantage of the opportunity to craft your skills and learn new things all at the same time. If money is tight, no worries. They have financial aid programs that can help make your passion for creativity completely doable. Radio, video, social media, doesn't matter at OMS. They cover all of it. Visit beonair.com or call 216-503-5900. That's 216-503-5900. The Ohio Media School. We change lives.
welcome back to Split View with Kramer and Josh.
Hello and welcome back
Mr. Cotter.
to today's episode of Split View. Wrong show.
Wrong show, sir. Wrong show.
Brian was already making fun of us on the messages for
Yes.
for Michigan.
Yeah,
So just a little preview for tomorrow, I guess.
right. And he also messaged us about how he thinks I can do a good cartoon impression.
Yes, sir.
So I have two. Here's Eric Cartman from South Park. Screw you guys, I'm going home. And then the other one is Stitch from Lilo and Stitch. Hi, I'm Stitch.
Great. I think the Stitch is better personally, but
Okay.
both pretty good.
Okay.
Have you even seen the new South Park?
The
Paramount Plus one?
No, I don't have Paramount Plus. I so badly want to watch it.
Yeah, there's a brand new South Park out called Post COVID where they're all adults in this episode. It's an hour-long special. And there's going to be like 14 different ones. We're already waiting for the next one that comes out in December because the first one ends off on a cliffhanger. I'm not going to give you any spoilers, but we were able to get Paramount Plus information, wink wink, that we didn't necessarily pay for, and watch it, so that was nice.
Maybe I should do the same.
Yeah, it's really worth watching. I
Yeah.
enjoyed it.
South Park is one of those shows that it's controversial in its content, but it's hilarious at the same time.
South Park has been around for so long, and I was a big Simpsons fan, and the Simpsons were really only good in like the first 12 seasons. After that, they just kind of went downhill. Something similar kind of started happening with South Park, and I thought like it was going to go the same way. But then those guys, Matt and Trey, that are in charge of that show, they have so much creativity that they've been able to do like so many different things to keep that show fresh.
Right.
And this is like the newest thing, and it really does it. It's
Yeah.
almost like watching a whole new show. But moving on to today's U.S. news. First one is one that hits kind of home to me as somebody who is a recovering heroin addict, 2 years clean. As Mayor de Blasio, who has 4 weeks left in office in New York, he's actually the outgoing mayor. He has opened his first legal shooting galleries for drug users in the U.S. I'm going to kind of explain what these are, because I don't think a lot of people would know. But in other countries, specifically Canada, Sweden, and Norway, they have these. And what they are is they're safe places where somebody who uses IV drugs, uses a needle to do their drugs, can go get a clean needle, clean stuff to do their drugs with. They don't provide drugs. They don't give you the drugs. But if you have the drugs and you're going to do them anyway, you can go there and do them in a safe place. That's the thought and the idea.
Okay, that is not what I pictured when you said shooting gallery. I thought something completely different.
Yeah, I think most people would, but that's actually what they call them. I think it's a silly name. They should just say like safe drug injection spot
Yeah.
or something that makes sense.
Yeah, because shooting gallery, my mind did not go to that. It went in a completely different direction, as I said.
Well, it kind of sounds like guns when you first hear about it.
Exactly, that's what I was thinking.
But the reason that they try to push for these is because of the spike in overdose deaths and the thought that if somebody's using drugs, and they would have like paramedics and stuff there too, so that if something happens to them, they could be saved. Versus if they're out on the streets doing it, nobody's around them, they have a good chance of dying if that happens.
You do hear a lot about people passing away from drug overdoses.
Oh, I've came close a few times myself, and it's scary, but it's the truth. There was a time once where my sister actually had to punch me in the chest to get my heart beating again.
Oh,
It's
wow.
real easy when you're doing opioids because they're meant to relax your body. So what they do is they relax you so much that you forget to breathe, and it just makes your system shut down.
Does it, so by like forgetting to breathe, does that mean like you just start holding your breath, or?
You're just so relaxed that you literally, your body stops functioning. And I'm not saying this is like typical, but when you overdose, that's what happens. You have done so much that your body can't, like, your heart isn't beating anymore. Like it's your heartbeat will slow down, your lungs won't be working at full capacity anymore, and eventually your body just shuts down.
That is scary.
And they say that these overdose prevention centers, which is such a better name, they need to just call them that.
They
Overdose
should.
prevention centers are a safe and effective way to affect the opiate crisis, and says that they're proud to show that cities in this country that after a decade of failure, a smarter approach is possible. And there's a lot to be picked apart in that, because he's right. There's been this war on drugs, quote unquote, for a long time now that is just not working. More and more people use drugs every year, more and more overdoses every year. People are using harder drugs. It used to be back, a lot of people would just smoke weed. Kids nowadays are popping pills, doing everything. So we need to find smarter ways to handle this, is what I'm trying to get to. But it's controversial, and it's hard to be able to point exactly and say it works, and I have these statistics to show that it works. He had tried before to start 4 of these, and President Trump and the city council person of New York at the time rejected them. And the reason for rejecting them is that they pointed to British Columbia, which in North America has the most safe injection sites, but also in that same city, they have equal overdose rates as New York does. So it doesn't really show that it's helping any.
Right.
So it's, as somebody who is in recovery, and I've had experiences with this, and I know what it's like to just need that stuff in your body so bad that you'll do anything. And if there was a safe place to do that, I think that could get rid of a lot of problems. But when you look at that, it kind of makes you wonder, does it really help any? So I can see both sides of this issue.
I'd have to look more into it before deciding which way I'm leaning.
I mean, at this point, we know that he's opening it, right? He's opening this. So for nothing else, we can look at how this works for the next couple months.
That's right.
When I look at this, I don't really have an opinion either way yet. I feel like, give me a couple months, let me look at what the results are, and we'll see what happens.
Right. I think it's too early to make an opinion on it.
Something I can have an opinion on, though, is how dumb this guy is.
Okay, let's hear about it.
Texas man was given 9 years in prison over a $1.6 million, it's million with an M, COVID Lamborghini fraud. Lee Price pleaded guilty to wire fraud and money laundering after he obtained relief funds and spent it on luxury items. So this was back in March 2020 after Trump signed the $2 trillion emergency relief fund, which was part of the stimulus checks, but a lot more of it was the PPP program, where businesses could get loans. Well, apparently this guy, who was 30 at the time, took multiple loans and did multiple fraudulent loan applications, basically lying on the applications, to get loans for 3 different places that he apparently didn't even have any connection with. Like, he just took the information from 3 different businesses, tried filling it out. What it sounds like to me is like he had an idea and was like, I'll just try it and see what happens. And it worked.
Wow.
But then he kept doing it. And he ended up using this money and buying. He got more than $2.6 million in loans. Or no, he sought more than $2.6 million and got $1.6. So they gave him $1 million less than he asked for. But he got $1.6 million and bought a $230,000 2019 Lamborghini, $14,000 Rolex watch, and spent $2,000 at a Houston strip club. It's a lot of ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. My girlfriend and I, we really like to watch this show called I Almost Got Away with It, and there's another one called Locked Up Abroad. And more when I watch these, I can kind of see a pattern that people will have an idea that's almost kind of smart. And they'll use it the first, maybe even the second time, and it'll work, and they'll get some money out of it. But then they get greedy, and they keep doing it, and they spend money on stupid stuff like this, and that's how everybody gets caught.
Yep.
If you're going to be a criminal, be smarter.
It almost sounds like you're encouraging people to be...
I mean, I'm not, but I really... If you're going to do something like this, don't just, automatically run and buy a Lamborghini. You're going to end up in prison.
Yes.
Anyway, he now has a 110-month prison sentence. It's a long time, 12, 24. It's like 9 years. Yeah, he got about 9 years in prison to reflect on where he might have messed up. Couple more before we hit our next break. Marilyn Manson. Did you ever listen to Marilyn Manson growing up?
Not really.
Yeah, I didn't think that would be your kind of music, but it was somebody I enjoyed back in the 90s. Like, in the 90s, that was all you had for kind of shocking music, and I enjoyed it. But anyways, he's gotten himself in all kinds of trouble over sexual assault claims, and his house was just raided by the Los Angeles police as they search for clues. Officials with the LA County Sheriff's Department confirmed that about 8 to 10 investigators with the Special Victims Bureau, so the real-life version of SVU, forced entry and executed a search warrant at Manson's mansion around 7 a.m. That's early as balls, man. Like, I feel like if you get me up that early, you better be arresting me. Anyways, the search was instigated after the LA County Sheriff's Office began investigating Manson over multiple reports of domestic violence against his wife, Rose McGowan, between 2009 and 2011. Dude's actually from Canton. A lot of people don't know that.
So, not a good look for Canton.
No, not a good look for Canton. And last but not least, before we hit our next local music break, for this local music break, you will be hearing The Scenic Route doing Class V. But first, I wanted to go out with a story that Josh gave me a little bit of attention towards, where former Trump Chief of Staff Mark Meadows is now cooperating with the January 6th probe. I don't know what to make of this January 6th probe stuff that's going on, because I keep hearing about it in the news, every month. But this has been for like almost a year straight now, and they keep saying like, "Oh, we're so close to pressing charges, or we're gonna get Trump for this or that," but nothing seems to happen.
Yeah, it just keeps feeling like empty promises at this point.
It's a good word for it. Because like over and over, you just hear like, "Oh, so and so is going to tell him everything," and you're like, "Okay, now maybe something will happen,"
and then nothing.
Nothing.
It's like we're waiting, and then big news. Never mind.
And I try to keep the show as like apolitical as possible, but I also try to be honest. And as an honest person, I am not a Donald Trump fan. I'm a liberal, but there are some conservative policies I don't mind. I'm more of a common sense person when it comes to politics. I don't have to stick with one side.
Fair enough.
But when it comes to Donald Trump as a person, like aside from what party he's in, he used to be a Democrat. Like 10 years ago, he was raising money for Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton. Now he's a Republican, quote unquote. The guy, he goes after like these really religious Christians and gets them to be his fan base when he's not even a Christian himself. He's a pretend Christian. He cheats on his wife. He does whatever he wants. And then he says, "Oh, I'm a Christian." And I say all this right after saying I tried not to make the show political. I made it very political. But I say all this to lead to this. We're almost getting to 2022, where another midterm election is going to take place. And then before you know it, it's going to be 2024, and time for another presidential election. Joe Biden's ratings are in the dump. It's like 30% right now. Nobody likes Joe Biden. And that's who they're going to run. And unless something happens in the next couple of years to stop it, Donald Trump's going to run. And very likely, he's going to win.
I thought Biden said that it was only going to be like a one-term thing. And
I hope so. I would have to look that up. I don't know. But I would hope so, that they could try to find somebody stronger to run against him.
Right. During the elections leading up to when Biden got elected, my personal preference would have been somebody to like connect with, I guess, our age group. I know you're a little bit younger,
No, I agree.
or a little bit older than me, but still, I would.
A 24 to 34 is usually considered a demographic. That's an adult demographic.
Right.
So we're in the same demographic.
Yeah, so I would have liked a president who, because we're like the demographic that I feel like everybody's trying to target.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I'd say in general that because 24 to 34, we're the age where we have disposable money, we're just starting families, a lot of us are just starting our life. So these are the people they're trying to target.
Right. So I would have liked a candidate that like knows us, like a younger person.
How did you feel about Bernie Sanders? And he was actually older, but I felt like he was more in touch.
Yeah. It's so hard to say with Bernie Sanders because, like, it feels like he wanted society to go completely in a different direction.
I mean, he had some left-leaning views,
Right.
some kind of socialist ideas, but
Yeah.
nothing all that extreme, really. I was a Bernie guy. I loved Bernie. My issue, and I think the issue a lot of other people felt, was that he wasn't going to win against Donald Trump. It was going to be too easy for Donald Trump to paint him as a communist and then get all the votes from people who are still scared of communists, and it just wasn't going to work. I didn't vote for Joe Biden in the primary because I just couldn't. Joe Biden drives me crazy.
Yeah.
After he won the primary, I did vote for him because I felt like I had to, because the only other option was the crazy guy.
Well, you could have gone for a third-party guy, too.
But you know they're not going to win.
Which is annoying, because, like...
It is frustrating, because I can't tell you how many times I've thought, like, why can't we just have a good third-party candidate?
NorthCoastUnderground.com.
There's nobody I want to vote for on either side.
Yeah.
You.
So, it's weird. But...
Anywho, and just real quick, I did look this up. Joe Biden intends to run again in 2024. He actually just said this 8 days ago, so he might have been like unsure before that, but he decided 8 days ago he is going to run again.
Interesting. I did not know that.
And it also says in the same article, the president's approval rating right now is actually 40%. That's really low. And even worse, Vice President Kamala, her approval rating is 28%.
That's more surprising.
It is surprising. I would think it would be the other way around, but either way, those people are in the dumpster when it comes to popularity, and it worries me.
It does.
We're going to take another break while you guys listen to The Scenic Route. When we come back, we're going to do more local news, and I got stories from... There's a theft ring going on in Cuyahoga Heights where more than 30 catalytic converters were stolen from school buses. Talk about that, as well as a teen who was chased down by canine officers. Kareem Hunt's dad getting involved with the Browns talk.
Yay!
And more. And we will be
right back.
Class 5 hurricane. You're a walking natural disaster. Got a feeling that you're never gonna change. Well, I'm done with the reconstruction, the charity and the camera crews. This feels like the same old story. This feels like the same old news. The same old broken things that you leave behind. I've seen the looks on your victims' faces, eyes glazed over like they wanna die. I could use some springtime sunshine. I could use some skies of blue. Next time that you're storming and raging, better think about what you're gonna lose. Don't go that way.
welcome back to Split View with Kramer and Josh.
Hello and welcome back to today's edition of Split View. It is still November 30th.
Yeah, we did not just magically time travel.
Dang it.
Darn it.
Dang it. I need it to be December 30th. My medical marijuana days refill then. I've never kept that a secret. But yeah, I'm patiently waiting. They're actually changing some of those laws, and I hope they do it sooner rather than later. But speaking of laws and things that you're not supposed to do, over in Cuyahoga Heights, apparently there's some very stupid thieves. Because there's certain places that you just shouldn't steal from. And when I was in my addiction, I did some things I'm not proud of. And let's just say I've had some experience with this. But you don't steal from schools. You don't steal from churches. You don't steal from other poor people. You know, if you have to, and I'm not... I gotta walk a line here. I'm not saying that anybody should ever steal. But if you're ever in a position where you think you're going to do that, go do it at like Walmart or something. Do it where like it's a corporation, you know? But anywho, somebody didn't get the idea. They didn't get the memo. And thieves have now hit a school bus lot and stolen catalytic converters, which are actually worth a lot. They're out of the bottom of your car. I'm not even sure exactly what they are. People are always talking about them, though, when they scrap metal, because I guess they're worth a lot. But they hit this school bus lot and stole catalytic converters from 35 buses. The buses were parked at East 49th Street in Cuyahoga Heights. Workers discovered the thefts when they arrived on work early Monday morning. Yeah, that was probably kind of a bummer.
Yeah.
Start to your Monday morning. That don't sound right.
No, because they probably went to, drive their buses to go pick up students, and it's like, wait, what? Why is my bus not starting?
Yeah, no good. The thieves entered the lot by cutting a hole in a fence, and this crime impacted bus service to 12 public and private schools and affected about 200 students. They ended up splitting up the bus drivers' routes, but in some cases, pickups were delayed. And like I said, be careful where you steal from. And this dude, if they catch who this is, you're going to watch him get smoked. He's going to get so much time for this because you don't steal from schools.
Again, we are not encouraging thieves.
No, I'm not encouraging thieves
Or
at
thieves.
all. Thievery. But there's situations, and this actually goes back to what I was saying earlier, where I feel like a lot of life is gray. Okay, say there's a single mom, right, and she has a baby, and she gets WIC and all that for her baby formula, but it doesn't cover enough. She only gets so much, and by the end of the month, her baby's starving. She has no money, no way to do anything. If that person goes and steals formula from Walmart, I kind of understand.
Yeah, in that situation, I get it.
And there's a lot of situations where people will just steal to steal, and that's ridiculous. What I'm saying, though, is no matter what position you're in, don't go stealing from, like, schools or churches or places where it's sacred. There's, like, a holy ground almost.
Yeah.
Don't...
There's
There's
almost
an innocence associated with kids.
Right, there's almost like a force field around those.
That you should just leave them alone. Somebody else who was trying to get himself some money in the wrong way. A teen who admits to involvement in a rash of armed robberies in Akron was caught after the canine chased him down. These canine dogs, man. Have you ever been up close with an actual canine dog?
No.
Because back when I was in school, they used to bring them to, like, school for assemblies and stuff. That's the only reason I was wondering. Maybe you had met them. But canine dogs are something else. They're so well trained and they're so good at their job. And if you're the person being chased by them, you might as well just surrender. At one point, I was hiding underneath a couch somewhere, and they sent a dog in to get me. Those guys bite, and they bite hard. And the cops really don't care. But anywho, the Akron police canine officer and his dog chased down a teenager suspected in the rash of robberies in the Firestone Park neighborhood. According to the lieutenant, a Family Dollar store on South Main Street was robbed at gunpoint around 8:10 Monday night. And that's interesting because my girlfriend is a Family Dollar manager, and I think she actually might have had to work at this store before. She goes to a lot of different streets. I feel like, is this a training store? I'll have to check my messages after this and see. But the South Main Street Family Dollar got robbed. The masked suspect came into the store with a rifle and demanded money from the clerk. Cash was taken and the gunman ran out of the store, at which point Miller said Officer Jeffrey Edzall, who was with his canine, spotted the suspect, talk about bad timing, running near East Firestone Boulevard and released his dog, who chased him down and caught him.
That is horrible timing.
That's really bad timing.
Yeah.
You were meant to get caught. You might as well just suck it up at that point.
Yeah.
Last but not least, for our local news, how do you feel about Kareem Hunt's daddy getting involved now?
Another one?
Yeah, we got another teammate of the Browns' dad getting in on the conversation. The quote that they pulled from it was, he's scared. That's what Kareem dad had to say about Baker Mayfield. Putting it more into a little bit of context, though, he took to social media to criticize quarterback Baker Mayfield's performance after that horrible game against the Ravens. Running back Kareem Hunt's dad, Kareem Hunt Sr., he wrote 2 posts late Sunday and early Monday where he said that he's limping, he's scared to throw the ball, and they know he's hurt. He went on to say that a new quarterback and a new situation, we could have won this game a long time ago. I can't really disagree with anything he said, though.
Yeah, I don't disagree at all.
And a lot of people are giving him flack for this, and they're comparing him to Odell Beckham Jr.'s dad, but I don't really see the same situation with this. He's not really taking cheap shots. But at the same time, I'm a little torn on it because I really don't need anybody's dad chipping in on things. Kareem, it's fair criticism.
100%.
And I would have been 100% okay with it if it was Kareem Hunt saying it out loud in a press conference versus Kareem Hunt's dad saying it on Facebook. That's where I'm at with it.
Yeah, makes sense.
He went on to say people on Facebook saying I'm being like OBJ daddy, and I'm not. I'm stating facts on football and what we see. So again, I kind of got mixed feelings about that. But it is what it is.
Yes, it is.
I'll tell you this much, I definitely hope they don't get rid of Hunt.
They probably will. I would not be surprised.
They're probably going to blow that whole team up. We are going to take our last quick break. You're going to listen to Division 3 do New Cleveland. We thought we had a New Cleveland. And when it comes to the Browns, we really got the same old, huh?
Yep.
And when we come back, we're going to be doing the Kramer Files. I got something a little bit different this time. You know I like my list.
Yes, you do.
But instead of doing a conspiracy list, we've done other times where we've used that segment to just kind of talk about weird stuff. 10 facts about body hair that are weird when we come back. So, you guys, we will be
right back.
You're listening to Split View, and we will be right back.
Hey, you've got a lock here at northcoastunderground.com, where the underground starts with you.
You gotta be fresh.
You suck, you jackass.
It's D3.
CO2.
It's the city.
D3. What's up?
It's a D-Lo 3. Yeah.
Yeah, we back. Cleveland, where you at? They gon' put us on the map. Get your money, make it stack. Ain't your average wild boy or them harmonized thugs. Ain't singing oochie coochie, but you will show us love. Never asking for a hug, never looking for a handout. We did this on our own, so flamboyant how we stand out. You think we had it planned out? It's nothing, cause we do this and we started from the bottom. Now our followers the truest. They all clueless about what our city's been through. Let down, setbacks, down this road we still continue. Then we caught a bad rep, but we stay strong spirited. That's the DNA of a Cleveland City lyricist. Pharaohs in this game, CO2 is our pyramid. Blare it through your speakers so the whole world hearing it. Bring me along, wake the critics up, they sleeping. Let me introduce you to New Cleveland. 3.
In the city, it's a new day. Got the city on a new way. Whole country got the city better run. Whole city out shit and we stunning. New Cleveland, New Cleveland.
The city of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. LeBron back, Manziel came. The Republican Convention 2016. We making history. 216 on the scene. And we the team. CO23 and BENT. We call them mistake violate, but it's done purposely. Because they never wanted us to have a purpose, B. Who would have thought these Cleveland boys be getting currency? Cause we forever gon' shine. Chandelier. And we stay ballin', click full of dogs and cavaliers. You get cheap Wahoo if you thinkin' something sweet round here. Because we gladiators and gladiators never show no fear. This is the new Cleveland flow. New grind. There's no half stepping cause we going all the way this time. We get that horseshoe money, that Gilbert state of mind. So sit back and recline, it's over. The city's mine.
In the city, it's a new day. Got the city on a new wave. Whole country got the city on the front page. New Cleveland, New Cleveland. It's the city where we come from. So I suggest you better run. Whole city out shit and we stunning. New Cleveland, New Cleveland. New Cleveland. New Cleveland. New Cleveland. New Cleveland, New Cleveland.
Welcome back to Split View with Kramer and Josh. Welcome to the Kramer Files, where each week we pick a different conspiracy and then tear it apart with our split views. Now with no further ado, let's get to the Kramer File.
Hello and welcome back
Mr. Carter.
to Split View in this week's edition of the Kramer Files. Now, we're not exactly going conspiracy this week, as I mentioned. I have a lot of different interests, and this site that I usually get my list from is called listverse.com. One of my favorite things to do when I'm bored is to go on there and just click random, because it'll take me to a random list, and it's always some stuff that, like, you'll be like, what? But then the more you learn about it, it's interesting.
All right.
So I did that just to see what it would come up with. I might do this for the next couple of weeks just to see where it lands us. And then probably in January we'll go back to normal. But 10 facts about body hair that will make you sick. Number 10. Are you ready for this, Josh?
Sure.
I figure I'm an expert on hair, you know.
Yeah, you totally are an expert
Seeing
on
how
hair.
I have none. Funny story about that real quick. When I was in prison, I was in segregation. I actually did have long hair when I was younger. I was real into rock and roll in high school and even a few years after that. And I had hair like Brian's length.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but then I started balding really young. And I think it was because I went to prison. I had so much stress, but my hairline just kept going back further and further. Until one day it was like, man, this is just ridiculous. And I'd gotten in trouble. So I was in segregation in the hole. So I was locked in a cell. And they would give us razors in the morning, but they were like these one-blade, horrible-to-use razors. And I told the guard, like, look, man, I'm going to shave my head. And he gave me like 10 of them. So I spent like half a day shaving my head, and I've shaved it ever since.
Nice.
So that's the Kramer hair fact. But back to the list. Sexy beard facts. Number 10. If you are looking for a long beard, have you ever tried to grow a beard?
Yes.
I've tried. I cannot do it. I come out patchy, kind of looking Amish. But they say if you're looking for a long beard, you need to have more sex. It says that when you anticipate it, and essentially when you release more testosterone, your hair follicles get the message that it's time to work harder, no pun intended, so while you have fun, your beard's growing faster than it ever has before. Good to know.
Okay.
Maybe that's why we can't grow beards, Josh.
I
Dandruff. Do you ever have any dandruff issues?
I
did I'm not trying to embarrass you. I'm just saying, it happens occasionally when you have longer hair.
I think I've had dandruff.
I mean, you have, like, kind of curly hair. Not
Yeah.
necessarily long, but there's a lot of it, I feel like.
Yeah.
Anyways, dandruff, number 9 on this list. Dandruff is a fungus. There is a fungus among us, and it's on your scalp. The fungus is scientifically called Malassezia globosa. There is no way I pronounced that right.
I was about to say English, please.
It's part of the yeast family. Most newborns are born with yeast on their scalp, but it exists without causing any problem. But sometimes the yeast goes into deep follicle diving and decides to live there, and that's how you get dandruff.
Fun.
Now you know.
Yes, the more you know.
Number 8. This is one Josh don't have to worry about. I would if I had hair. You're going gray for a reason. This one isn't going to make you sick, but it may make you reconsider your lifestyle. You know how parents will always complain that their kids are making them go gray?
Yes.
They're actually not wrong. Stress and age can actually cause lower pigment production in the hair and therefore cause gray hair.
Interesting.
Last but not least, you can actually have a cool name for your gray hair, as the scientific term for gray hair is called canites. Canites. That's an interesting name.
Yes, it is.
One more reason you may be experiencing this is that your hair is bleaching itself from the inside out.
The what?
Apparently, when your hair builds up too much hydrogen peroxide, it'll literally bleach itself.
So what? We should all dye our hair a different color then?
I mean, if you don't want gray hair.
I actually did try dyeing my hair red once.
How'd that come out?
My parents were not happy about it.
I was always obsessed with the idea in high school, and again, it goes with like my whole rock and roll persona back then, that I wanted to have like purple or blue hair when I got older.
What if I had to dye my hair now? What color do you think I could pull off?
I think you could pull off any, but of course, my idea of pulling off, I think, is a lot different than yours. Like, I would say dye your hair green or red or purple or all of those colors combined. Who really cares? I think it would be interesting, but
it would be a rainbow of color.
You might have people poking fun at you every now and then, but who cares?
Yes.
Next up, number 7, the best mop for oil spills. It says that hair is natural hydrophobic, meaning that it repels water. However, it is a lithophilic material, meaning that it also loves to soak up oil. In fact, hair does such a great job at absorbing oil that some people use it to clean up their oil spills at home. Anyways, this isn't a hypothetical fact. It actually does happen and has been happening since the late 1980s, that people use hair even as an eco-friendly way to clean up giant oil spills. It was also used in the 2020 oil spill that leaked over 1,000 metric tons of oil into the Indian Ocean. They used hair to clean that up as well.
I wonder if they used hair in that famous BP oil spill.
I'm sure they did.
They probably did, you're right.
I always remember seeing clips from back then when they were like cleaning up all the little duckies covered in oil.
Yes.
And I was always so bummed out for the poor little duckies. Like, they're just chilling, just living their best duck life. The next thing they know, they're covered in oil.
Duck life.
Hair, teeth, nails, skin. Number 6 says that they are all made of the same thing.
Oh, I know what it's called. I think it's keratin.
You nailed it. Very good. It wasn't even a quiz question, but you nailed it. Hair is made up of a very special protein called keratin. It's also what our teeth, nails, and outer layer of skin is made from. Number 5, just the name of this fact is just, it's dead, Jim. So I don't know what that means, so reading on. Your hair is dead. Yeah, you've got a dead thing living on your head, and it's not a bad toupee. The only living part of your hair resides within the follicle. Follicle provides the root of your hair with the blood supply it needs to stay alive. But once the hair cell grows out, those cells are actually dead. If you were to look at your hair strand underneath a microscope, you'd see layers of dead cells overlapping each other. That's kind of strange. So the corpse of your hair is resting on your head.
So basically, there's a hair graveyard on your head.
Yes, sir. Witch's brew will do. Number 4. You think putting egg whites and avocado in your hair is gross? Wait for this one. 16th century physicians swear he could make people's hair grow back by using a mixture of boiled slugs, emerald oil, honey, saffron, soap, and cumin. And you do not drink it, you rubbed it over your scalp.
That just sounds disgusting.
You wouldn't do that to grow your hair back?
No.
Number 3, you do have something crawling around up there, however. Remember when we said that your hair is dead? That's only partially true, as there's something pretty darn alive coexisting within that dead hair. Outside whatever you may have picked up by doing whatever you do in your free time, you also have mites living in your hair at all times. Demodex follicorum is the scientific name and lives inside the hair follicle and lives off dead skin. Like fish flakes that give you fish, but human dead skin cells.
That's interesting because, like, when campers come into Camp Wise, on, like, the first day, they have doctors or something go through.
Check your hair.
Yeah.
Checking for lice.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, and that is different. Mites are a lot smaller, and I don't think they bite. I'm not sure. No, yeah, they live off dead hair cells, so they don't bite. That would be the difference. The mites are so small, like, we literally have stuff like this all over our body 24/7 and don't even know it. You know, like bacteria and living things.
Exactly.
Number 2, the life cycle of hair. Humans are the only species that need to cut their hair regularly because human hair growth and shedding actually happen at random. It says they don't exist like other wild mammals with perfectly trimmed fur, which actually does make sense. You know, aside from like dogs and cats who you might take to get trimmed, you don't have to. You might just because, you know, as an owner, you want them to look good. But for the most part, most fur, like, just fine.
Yeah.
They grow more fur in the winter, and then they shed it in the summer.
Did you know that the reason sloths are green is because they're moving so slow that all that hair causes algae to grow?
Oh, wow. No, I did not know that. Another interesting fact, this one from Josh. But anyways, it says that the reason for this is your human hair grows cyclically, and that there are 3 stages to hair growth. And shedding, depending on your location, it'll grow to a specific length, chill there for a while, and then shed. When this happens, a new hair replaces the old. A single hair can actually live up to 5 years, though.
In with the new, out with the old. I think that's how that saying goes.
I always found it weird that, like, there's so much of our body, like, we shed skin and grow new skin cells, and we shed hair and we grow new, hair cells. And it's almost like if you've been doing this for so long that it's going to, eventually you're going to be a completely new person almost. It's kind of weird. Last but not least, as we have people waiting to come in here, you don't have pubic hair on your heads, but you sort of do. Pubic, armpit, and facial hair are all the same kinds of hair. Terminal hair. Terminal hair starts as fine and soft, but then becomes coarser and thicker once you hit puberty. So, yeah, you do have similar hair on top of your head as down below.
Okay.
Those were your interesting hair facts for the week. This has been Split View. You got anything left, Josh?
No, sir.
Make sure you check out our various YouTube channels. Kramer What is mine?
Kramer Radio and Productions.
Yeah, I almost forgot. Kramer Radio and Productions and yours.
Unger to the max. We do want to create a Split View YouTube channel where we can post all of our episodes. I think we should do that.
Yeah, that's probably a goal for this week. So we'll try to get back to you on that next week.
Yes.
In the meantime, I try to put them up when I can on my YouTube. But yeah, we need a dedicated page. It's not a bad idea. But other than that, we will be back next week. Same Kramer time to do the same Kramer thing. And other than that, we are
out.
Into the night, out of the darkness, out of the light. Punk rock show.